As a tech founder, as busy as I'm sure you are, why in the world are you investing in real estate?
So my story is actually a little bit different than I would say the average real estate investor. I actually had a 3-bedroom townhouse, 3 floors, just myself living there. It's just too big for me. The traditional route of finding that one person to rent out the house, this will probably be maybe $100, $200 of cash flow. And I'm going through the different options out there. And my realtor told me about Pat Split. She was just like, hey, you could probably make it around like 5,000, 6,000 in rent. I have a townhouse. I'm not sure what you think I have. That was that like eureka moment. That was like when the light bulb went on.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Pad Split is the #1 online marketplace for those looking to rent a room. They do the screening for us. We're called Pad Split hosts. And so Pad Split either approves or denies them. And if they're approved, then they start the process to help them transition into the room for rent. Welcome to another episode of the Co-Living Investing Podcast. I am your host, Ashley Jeffers. And on this podcast, we talk about real estate investing, mainly room rental investing, or you might hear it's called co-living investing or shared living or communal living, so many names, but basically just taking one property and renting out the rooms. We also talk about business and entrepreneurship. So on today's episode, I have with me Fitz Light. Fitz, welcome to the podcast.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So Fitz is a newcomer to the room rental investing industry. So he's also interesting. He's also interesting because he is a tech founder. And so we're going to get into all things that concern his business, but also talk about his experience thus far with room rental investing. So Fitz, you live here in the Charlotte area?
That's correct.
Okay. How long have you been here?
I've been here since 2017, so it's been a minute now. I'm almost a Charlottean, I guess, by the 10-year mark, right?
10-year mark.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's coming up soon, It's coming up soon.
Very cool. Very cool. So before we get into the room rental investing that you found yourself in, tell us about this tech company that you're the founder of.
Yeah, so my company is named Flight Suite, and Flight Suite is a CRM operator that specializes in data entry for sales and operations teams. So at any time, a rep can basically tell a browser extension what it is that they want to log, whether it's updating a contact, sending an appointment, updating notes or a task, and it will do it for them in their CRM so that they don't have to log in manually, do the different components. It saves average rep about 5 to 10 hours each week. So,
oh, wow. So with the CRM, what type of industry is it best suited for? Is it any business? Is it product and service-based businesses? Can you tell us a little bit more about who is more suited for?
Yes. So a CRM is a customer relationship management tool. So any business that's in the art of being a business should be using a CRM. And depending on your industry, what CRM is best for you is very subjective. However, for the most part, if you are a business and you need to keep track of your customers in terms of when was the last time you spoke with this customer, what was the conversation about, et cetera, so that that relationship, if you want to close that customer, everyone on the team can have that knowledge and it's not just contained to just one person. So that's the purpose of a CRM, and every business can benefit from having it.
Sweet. What's the name of it?
Flight Suite.
Flight Suite. I love that.
So Flight Suite.
Okay. So as a tech founder, and you do this full time?
That's correct.
Okay. As a tech founder, as busy as I'm sure you are, why in the world are you investing in real estate?
So my story is actually a little bit different than I would say the average real estate investor that's probably getting into the co-living investment arena. I actually had a 3-bedroom townhouse, 3 floors, just myself living there. I bought it a couple years ago, probably right after COVID. So I got a good rate for it. Pretty good investment in itself. It's just too big for me. After 2 years of being there, especially now that I'm a full-time tech founder, so most of the time I'm working from either the kitchen table or my office. But then it's just this empty house that's there. I was like, okay, I need to do something with this. It doesn't make sense for me to be here.
Right.
The traditional route of finding that one person to rent out the house, I was like, okay, this will probably be maybe $100, $200 of cash flow, but then I have to manage it myself, etc.
Yep.
It's not really worth my time to necessarily doing that.
Yep.
You probably know the market's kind of terrible right now to trying to be selling a house. So the market or selling the house wasn't really an option. And I'm going through the different options out there, and my realtor told me about pad split.
Okay.
And primarily, she was just like, hey, you could probably make it around like 5,000, 6,000 in rent.
You heard
And
that.
I was like,
you were like, sign me up.
I was just like, what are you talking about? Oh, wait, what do you mean? I was like, no, I have a townhouse. I'm not sure what you think I have, but it's just a normal townhouse. And she was like, yeah, you can probably be making 5,000 to 6,000. This platform specializes in it. And I was like, okay, you send me that over and I'll take a look at it. And yeah, I guess, that was kind of oh, wow, I can be making 5,000 to 6,000. That was that like eureka moment. That was like when the light bulb went on.
Yeah.
I called Pad Split probably the next day. And I was like, hey.
Waste no time.
Hey, oh, of course. I was like, hey, if we can get this thing going now, let's go ahead and get it going. And in terms of at least just hearing them out.
Yeah.
And then I spoke with Dominique, amazing realtor here in the Charlotte area. And she said that she could get a contractor out just to give me a quote on the conversion. I'm not sure if your viewers know, but most of the time with Pad Split, they only work with properties that I want to say are at least 4 bedrooms.
Yeah.
But the sweet spot's around 5 to 6. And the way how they do that is just by converting out like free space in the house. So if you think about the living room area or like the loft area that you might have, or maybe you have one giant room that could probably be 2 rooms, and they specialize in more so just splitting it up into being able to have multiple, tenants.
Rooms.
Yeah, live in the house. And so we ended up turning it from a 3-bedroom to a 5-bedroom. The craziest part is that it took maybe less than 10 days. I'm going to say 10 days for the full conversion.
This is your townhome we're talking about.
This is a townhome.
Where you live today.
No, so that's also a funny story. So I was just like, okay, I was talking with Dominique and she was like, well, when do you think you would be moving out? And I was like, well, how long do you think it would take you to get this fully leased up? And I guess I could probably, just do it by that. Like, it's going to take you a couple months to do that. Then I'll probably live here for a little bit. And Dominique was like, well, probably as soon as 4 days, and maybe the longest kind of being like 2 weeks or so.
For renovations?
No, for the renovations, that happened even crazier. For renovations, the guy came out on Sunday. And I was talking to him Sunday, and I told him, like, okay, I think I can convert this, convert that. And he was like, yeah, I could see that. And then he actually kind of walked through it because he specializes in doing it. His name's Will Holly. So shout out to Will, too.
Shout out to Will.
But he basically walked through, was like, okay, here, we can do it here, and we can do it downstairs. And he was like, we'll have this done by Thursday. And I was like, excuse me?
Right.
Yeah, I'm just like, excuse me? What do you mean?
Thursday of next month, Thursday 2 months from now.
I'm trying to comprehend
one
what
day
he
in the
means.
future.
Like,
so what type of renovation was it? Did he do like traditional like framing and drywall to create more rooms? Like, walk us through kind of what the renovations looked like to create more rooms.
Right. So so we're talking framing, we're talking drywall, we're talking so I had like a ceiling fan that was in one spot, but didn't really make sense once we had kind of portioned off the room. So then it was taking that ceiling fan and putting it more so in the middle of the room. And then I would say, Will, what I really enjoyed about working with him, his whole thing was, this needs to look like it was a part of the house. He's like, you're not just like going to throw up a wall.
Right.
And now you walk in and it's like,
this doesn't look right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And his whole thing was that, like, by the time I finished my work, you should have never known, like, you would have never known that there was open space right here. It's just going to look normal. And like, as soon as that day, he was like, okay, my crew's going to be here in the morning. Morning comes, by the end of that night, everything was framed.
Wow. Okay. So in total, how many days did it take him?
So it took, I want to say 10 days in total. And that's mainly because the drywall took a little bit longer to dry than they expected. But they were trying to, they would have had it done in a week, timing if they could have.
So 1 to 2 weeks to take your 3-bedroom townhome to 5.
That's correct.
Wow. You're winning with that one.
That's correct. Yep,
okay.
Yep.
So talk to us about Pad Split, your experience with getting onto that platform and using Pad Split to fill your rooms?
So Pad Split has been great just in the part that they have the platform where they already have people that are pre-approved to basically lease and rent out these properties. And to my understanding, it's more so individuals that they are necessarily looking for a place, like I would say medium term, not necessarily short enough to where you're like, hey, I'm going to be here for a day or two, because in a hotel makes sense, but it's also not long enough to actually go sign a lease and then go get furniture, et cetera, and do it yourself.
Right.
So it's almost that sweet spot area where it's too expensive to be an Airbnb, where it was like, okay, Airbnb is going to be too much, but then a hotel, it's also going to be more expensive. So you're just
Absolutely.
like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll go with Pad Split, and that's where Pad Split. So they rent by the room. I mean, rent by the week. So your price could probably be $250, $300 a week.
Right.
And then typically they have like a 3-month lease with Pad Split at least. So even though that they're renting by the week, they can stay at that property longer than just a week. Typically they will stay unless they don't like the property that they're at. Then they might switch to go to a different property.
Different Pad Split property.
Right.
Yeah. So my houses are on Pad Split. And so the average tenure for my room renters is 6 to 9 months.
Nice.
So these individuals, to your point earlier, they're not looking for a place just to crash for a couple weeks. They're actually looking for a place to live. For those that don't know, Pad Split is the number one online marketplace for those looking to rent a room. So Pad Split matches those who are looking to rent a room with those who have properties, like myself and Fitz, who have properties with rooms available for rent. And so our target audience are individuals that make probably between $30,000 and $50,000 a year, don't have the best credit. They might have an eviction. That's not a deal breaker. Pad Split doesn't even check credit. So they check income and they check the background. And so what Fitz mentioned earlier, as far as like Pad Split doing screening, they do the screening for us. We're called Pad Split hosts, right? And so when individuals are coming on to Pad Split's platform looking for a room to rent, they fill out an application just like they would with a traditional apartment unit. And so Pad Split either approves or denies them. And if they're approved, then they start the process to help them transition into the room for rent. And so back to your property, you've got 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms.
2
bathrooms.
Yep.
Okay. So give me the breakdown of what you're able to charge for your rooms. And let me know what rooms come with, how many rooms come with the private bathroom, because I know there's probably some shared bathrooms in there as well, right?
Yep. So if we think about it, I'm going to start from probably the bottom and I'll go up.
Okay.
It's easiest for me to visualize.
Okay.
So the first floor of the house was initially like an English basement. So that basically means it's not necessarily a basement because half of it is above ground. However, it's not also a bedroom. I'm not sure why the developers didn't just make it a bedroom.
A bedroom.
It's just one of those things where it's like, okay, someone got lazy here. However, that's also the time where you find your value when
Absolutely.
the developers are lazy. It's like, okay, great. This is a nice way to add some additional value to the house. So that we turned into a bedroom, and then we gave that with garage access. So that way we could also be able to charge a little bit more for that room. So that is about $250 a week or $1,000 a month right there.
Okay.
And then we go up to the second floor. The second floor was initially the living room, the dining room, the kitchen area.
Okay.
And so we ended up turning the living room into a room in itself. And then it's more so like a walkway that seems like it's almost very natural when you walk into the house. So that the door to walk in the house is on the second floor.
Okay.
The garage is on the first floor. That's what makes it like the English basement at the bottom floor.
Bottom level.
Yep.
Okay. The person who rents the room downstairs with the garage access, that's their private. Is that considered private access for them? Like
that's what we made.
They go into that door, into the garage entrance as their entryway into their room versus having to come up to the second floor.
That's correct.
Is that how, okay,
Yep.
you have that set up? Okay.
Yep, exactly. So that way they can just drive in, park the car. They're at that room.
Okay, and they get to actually park their car in there as well.
Yeah, because I don't live there anymore. So it's like, yeah.
Okay, so it's open to, okay. And you're charging how much a week?
So this is just because we just started we started 45 days ago, and it was like, hey, let's
Up
get
and
it
running.
leased, and
Yeah.
then we can
Increase
increase
the pricing.
exactly.
Yeah.
So just get the community flowing, because obviously that's another part that, or I guess we'll probably get into that when we start talking about once it's up and running.
Yeah.
But so that was first thing. The second floor, that living room area that we turned into a bedroom, that's like a very, very large room in itself.
Okay.
So that was like, okay, well, this is another room that we could probably do for, I think we ended up doing, I want to say net $850 to start out with, because we gave some 6-week promotions just because once again, it was just starting out.
So $850 a month.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's what that came up to be, like kind of net in terms of, well, yeah, after we put the promotions in there.
Okay.
And then the top floor, those were very like small-ish bedrooms. Like it can fit a queen bed and then a nightstand, and then it has like, almost probably what most of us grew up in when we were younger. It's like that type of smaller style bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
That in itself we're doing that for $800 again. No, $750 for those. So $1,500 for that, $1,000 for the bottom, $900 or $850 for the second one, and then the last one, which is my master, that one still hasn't been rented out yet, and that's to be expected. Like, we had a couple people that wants to rent out, that wanted to or applied for it.
Mm-hmm.
However, they had bad reviews, so we're like, okay, we're not necessarily gonna.
Right. No need of going down that path. Like, somebody told you that they're not a good fit for room rentals. Believe the reviews.
Believe the reviews. Trust me. Believe the reviews. Don't.
Yeah.
All it takes is one bad tenant
Absolutely.
to ruin the entire property.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
And so we're doing that one for $1,200 though. So overall, I gotta even look at the full numbers on it. But I want to say we're looking at about 5,000 ish
a month revenue.
Yes.
$5,000 revenue.
Yes.
On a townhome.
Yes.
Because of room rentals. What would have been if you would have rented this unit, this townhome, to a traditional renter, like one renter, one family? What's the most rent you would have been able to get from that renter?
Yeah, so I was only looking at $2,300, and that was top of market.
Okay, so we're talking with room rentals, you pretty much like doubled the income that you would have gotten if you just rented to a traditional tenant.
Oh, 100%. That's why when
Wow.
I say I moved out, I got an apartment, and the money that I make from the pad split essentially pays for not only the mortgage, but also my apartment, a property manager, and then I also still get to put some, away for.
Pause. Hold on. Let me get this straight. So you're telling me that you moved out of your townhome into an apartment, and the revenue that you're getting from room rentals from a townhome is not only covering the expenses at that townhome, but covering your living expenses at the apartment you're at now, and you're still able to cash flow?
Yep.
Okay, listen.
Yep.
If you were not in the room rental space right now, if you're a real estate investor and you are still doing traditional rentals and have not looked into room rentals, you are doing yourself a disservice. So, shameless plug. I do have a course in mentorship that teaches how to do room rental investing the right way. And so there's going to be a link in the show notes for anyone who is interested in taking advantage of real estate in the way that Fitz has. Right now in our current real estate market, traditional rentals, it is very hard to cash flow. Fitz mentioned it earlier. Like, had he gone the traditional route, only talking $100 or $200 a month cash flow, that's just not worth the headache. It's not worth it. I don't care how much of a tax advantage your tax guy tells you that a traditional rental is going to give you. Tax advantage is great. Yes, that comes with real estate. But at the end of the day, the work that we have to put into these investments and getting them up and running, we want to be rewarded with the cash flow. In a lot of cases, like I know there are some investors that do invest for appreciation. They do invest for, that building equity. But me, and I think Fitz, I can speak for him, we like cash flow. We like to be able to say that we set up an investment in a way that every week, in our cases, with weekly room rentals, we're getting paid every week. There are some room rentals, the renters, they pay every 2 weeks. But we certainly are not in the boat of traditional landlords that are waiting once a month to get paid. And so we could continue on down the path of the advantages of room rentals versus traditional rentals. But those are just some advantages that you're looking at when you decide to niche down and go down this path and use this strategy in real estate investing. So talk to me about this being your first one. And you've only been into it for 45 days.
Yep.
What are your plans going forward? Do you think you'll get another one, or
100%.
Are you stopping at this one?
100%.
Okay.
I'm definitely getting another one. Definitely doing this again, especially in terms of finding a nice kind of house that has opportunity to be converted into a pad split.
Yeah.
I think that's where you get a lot more of the value from. Or if you can find anything that has just maybe 5 bedrooms, I would say, to, you could purchase it and start getting it on pad split to start out with. That's also pretty great.
Yeah.
But I will definitely be doing this again. I will say what I've learned, especially since starting it, and I'm glad I just took that advice early. I didn't try to do it myself just because I'm also running a tech company as well.
Right. Very busy.
Yeah, exactly. One of the lessons that I learned about, running a tech company is finding the right people to do certain parts of your business. Like, you don't have to do it all.
Right.
And so if you get a good team in place, you can be outside of the process. So I got a nice property manager in place, and he handles all of the communication aspects. He has a full team under him that handles all the, the handyman things. Or if a person gets locked out at 12, a.m., which actually happened last night, guy got locked out.
Oh boy.
Wasn't actually locked out.
Of course not.
Just was entering the keypad
incorrectly.
And you know how mad I would have been
real mad
if I had to drive out there to go enter in the keypad and the door opens.
Yeah,
because that's
what would have happened. It would have opened right up for you.
And I would have been like, okay, so now I just got up out my sleep, and that really turns a lot of people off from real estate.
Absolutely,
you don't want to be a landlord now. And that's why you have a good property manager,
right,
that handles that aspects. And then also just in terms of the way how he put I would tell a lot of people what really matters is your listing. Like, your listing, a lot of people don't think about that aspect of the pictures, the keywords, descriptions. All of that is an art. And I would tell you, for the week that I was doing it versus, I signed up with him just as quick as I signed up with Pad Split. And the next day he came out, had his team do some pictures, had the description in there, and by the end of that week, we had like 3 people that had requested to book a room. So
you're referring to your property manager?
Yep.
What's your property manager's name?
Martinez. Yeah, Martinez with iTrup.
Okay, Martinez with iTrup. Look him up. One of the, I guess, challenges to room rental investing is filling your rooms, right? And so, Pad Split does help. Pad Split does drive traffic. But having the right property manager who knows the space is also a value add. So having Martinez knowing what to write up for the descriptions for the rooms, ensuring that Fitz has high quality pictures on his listing is another difference maker. Because with Pad Split, it's similar to Airbnb. So when you go to look for an Airbnb to rent, you don't ever go to that property in person first. You go to Airbnb's platform and you look at the pictures, and that's how you make a decision. So the pictures have to be of the highest quality, have to be very clear, have to show every aspect of the property so that someone can see themselves staying there, either short term in the case of Airbnb, or long term in the case of room rentals. So high quality photos and very clear concise descriptions is super important when it comes to marketing your room rentals. And so, like I said, Pad Split does drive traffic there, but it is up to us as hosts whether we're going to do it ourselves or have a property manager do it to make sure that our listings are like 100% spot on in helping someone seeing themselves living in the rooms.
Yep. And that's really what it comes down to, is like, at the end of the day, Pad Split is just the platform.
Yeah.
You still have to optimize the platform. It's like if you were doing Facebook ads, Facebook can give you the people, but if your ad isn't good,
it's not going to
not
matter
good.
that you got people. You're just going to drive people to look at like not such a great ad, and that's probably not going to entice them to buy whatever you're selling. So,
Yep.
So when it comes to the team, you mentioned the team earlier. So you mentioned you have a property manager. You have a handyman.
Property manager has a handyman.
That's through the property manager. Okay. Is there anyone else on your team that you utilize on a day to day for your room rental property because you're so busy as a tech founder?
Yes. So I would say property manager is great for more high level things. You still want, if you can, have someone that can be like on site or not necessarily on the site, but close by that can make sure the house is stocked with cleaning supplies. I would say cleaning supplies, that's another cheat code. Spend the money to make sure your house is always stocked with cleaning supplies.
Absolutely.
Because you want to, and I will also say signs, having signs that say clean up after yourself.
In the kitchen.
Oh, the kitchen, the
bathroom.
You just gotta, a lot of things that you would say are obvious, treat it like if you were, when you were in a dorm and you would see signs and you're like, why do they have that? They think we don't know that? I get it now.
You get it now. You know that, but you need to be reminded.
Exactly.
And that's what those signs are for. Yeah, that's awesome. Housekeeping, house cleaning. Do you run in house cleaning, or is it up to your room renters to use those cleaning supplies that you provide to keep the house clean?
So I do house cleaning once a month.
Same.
And I let them know like it's coming on this day. And then other than that, there is that sign that says clean up after yourself, but I make it very easy for people to clean up after themselves as well. So I have like a little rack in the bathroom that has the cleaning supplies on there. And, I'm like, all right, ideally that has been doing what it needs to do.
I was going to ask, has it encouraged people to clean up after themselves having those supplies there?
Yes. And I will say though, because once again, all it takes is one bad actor.
Yeah.
And
mess it up for everybody.
Yeah. And so fortunately, it's like a person reaches out like, hey, this person isn't doing their thing. My property manager, like I see the message, but it's great knowing that like, and then my property manager steps in.
Deals with that.
He deals with that.
Yep.
He'll give me a call, let me know like, hey, this was just dealt with, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, cool. I get to be that, the good guy that's just like.
It's like, hey, it's not me that's getting on you about whatever the issue is. So if you don't mind sharing, how much do you have to pay your property manager to manage?
Yeah, so 10%.
10% of your rental income you bring in every month.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah.
Like Airbnb is upwards of, I've heard 20-25%.
Oh, no, that's wild. But I guess I get it because you need to have cleaners coming in.
It's a lot more to it.
It's just like, don't charge me for cleaning though. If I'm paying you 20%,
right, I'm
not paying a cleaner as well. Like
that part.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Fitz, do you want to share how people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, feel free to get in touch with me on LinkedIn, on Instagram, or if you want to learn more about how to create AI tools like web apps, websites, etc., without knowing how to code, you can follow me on any of those platforms at Fitz Light.
Awesome. So we're going to put links in the show notes of how to find Fitz, as well as how to find his software company. So Fitz, I want to thank you for coming and being on the show. I appreciate you coming out and sharing your story. I hope it encourages people to take that first step and take what you have and utilize it to the fullest, which is what you did with that townhome. Very impressive.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks for the invite. And I will definitely be subscribing to this. So guys, make sure you subscribe.
Appreciate that. All right, guys. This is the second episode of the Co-Living Investing Podcast. Thank you for joining in with us, and we'll see you on the next episode. Peace.